All right, well, we may soon have more than just 2 COVID vaccines here in the U.S. as more variants are being discovered.
And the long-term effects of the virus are also proving to be a problem in many patients. Internal medicine specialist Dr. Abha joining us live to talk about these new strains being found in the U.S. and 2 new vaccines that could soon hit the market. Good morning.
Good morning to you both.
Well, let's first talk about some of these new vaccines that could be on the market soon, and how are they different from the 2 that are currently on the market?
Well, thank you for having me this morning. So we've heard a lot about mRNA technology. That was sort of a novel approach to a novel virus. But AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson are probably the 2 next manufacturers that we're going to be hearing a lot about in the United States. And they use more traditional DNA. They also use an adenovirus as a vector. And I don't want to give too many terminologies that might frighten people. I ask that you understand that this approach to vaccine development is tried and true. It was used for Ebola, and we're seeing it now again, quite possibly in the United States for EUA in the next several months.
So will, these available vaccines, work against these new strains and variants?
Great question. And, as I was developing talking points, things are already changing this weekend, whereby AstraZeneca, which had already received approval in South Africa, had to suspend its dispensation because they're not finding adequate coverage of this vaccine against their virus variants known in South Africa as B1351. So great question. I think the jury is still out in terms of the available vaccines and their ability to sort of quell the robustness of our variants that we're seeing in South Africa and possibly Brazil.
Doctor, I've seen this being reported more recently as the NFL stadiums are going to be opening up as these major areas to get the vaccine out. Is that going to help speed up the process, do you think?
Of course. I think this national effort to collaborate and dispense this vaccine is exceptionally exciting and satisfying. And I think that currently we see the Defense Production Act will be invoked and/or is invoked. We'll see the production of more vials, more vaccines, a greater ability for the country to meet its demands state by state, and certainly arenas where they can be dispensed.
Is there anything else that you just want to add that you just really want people to know about? As it seems, every day, obviously, we're getting new information. There's so much to sort through. What do you just want to tell people?
In the spirit of Black History Month, and I thank you for the question, I want to leave you with a quotation by Dr. King. "The time is always right to do what is right." We know that our minority populations have been disproportionately afflicted by this virus. And so the imperative to vaccinate those most vulnerable, to include the essential workers, largely comprised by our minorities, becomes that much more pressing. If you have any concerns or questions about safety and efficacy, I ask that you talk to a trusted physician and/or healthcare provider. It's why we're here. It's why we do what we do. But please do not be prey to a lot of disinformation that's out there. We want to help, but we want everybody to receive the vaccine, especially the most vulnerable among us.
Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. We always appreciate it.